this art. Did everybody see this art that we sent to you this morning? Okay. What is this art called? Minimalism. You would consider this minimal art. Minimalism means it's not a lot. It's using as little as possible, okay, to make the art. This is a perfect example of minimalism. It's just one color. So minimal means less. And I wonder what years ago that was that minimalism came out. Was it in the 60s, 70s, maybe 70s, late 70s, I believe. Do you remember older? I'm sorry, but I didn't study minimalism before I came today. So I'm so old, I've forgotten more than I can remember. But it's like less is more. That was this idea that less is more. Have you heard that before? That concept, less is more? And that's across the board in music as well, right? But I think now, I'm just listening to some musicians talk on my way over there. But this morning, that's what I've been listening to. And they're saying that today more musicians are using more notes than they used to before. But the notes might not have the feeling that it did in the past. But as we go along, people are going to be piling on using more and more. And I can say today in the art world, things are made, artists and art dealers are making things important by making it big. Okay, so to me, it's like they're tricking the public that more is more. But you should be able to make something very small, yet it will still be very powerful if it's going to move a person's spirit. And I was thinking yesterday about AI. You guys, I'm sure you guys are more interested in AI and know more about it than I do, right? Yeah, because you'll be living in the era of AI. And I won't be around that much longer. So, but I will, hopefully I'll be around to see the self-driving cars. Maybe I'll have one, you know. But in the future, when you guys grow up, not even my age, you know, if you don't know something about AI, as far as programming, you won't have any jobs. So we won't need taxi drivers or bus drivers. Amazon won't need human beings to mail things, you know, the post office won't need. So you getting into this computer age is important. And I'm just rattling on, but I just to let you know, there used to be an organization here, a non-profit organization called Tech Town. You know Tech Town? And I was around when it was first formed. It's kind of defunct now. And I'm telling you, when I went to Tech Town, and I saw what they were promoting, which was basically coding, I tried to convince them to have an art school. I went there and did an art thing there. But I tried to convince them these kids need to learn art. You know, because creativity can help with coding. And for some reason, I understood that coding is not going to last. Because technology is moving so fast, but you're going to need creative people in the future. You're going to need people who can tell stories. You're going to need people who will use their right brain. And when we're making art, we're using right brain. We are brilliant people. Now, the world will try to make you think that you're less and that you're not brilliant. But to be an artist, you have to be darn near a genius to figure this stuff out. And I know that because, and when I say artist, I don't mean just people who draw and paint. I mean dancers and musicians, the whole 9 yards. But I had when I was in graduate school, I had a musician friend who played keyboard. But he was like a genius at keyboard. And NASA hired him to program their computers, which surprised me, shocked me, because there was something about playing the keyboards that was, that they needed with computers. You play keyboards. You play keyboards. You play a little bit, right? So there's something about playing the keyboard that I guess is the way your brain works. It helps with coding and everything else. So in the future, and I came up with this brilliant concept. Oh yeah, by the way, Tech Town doesn't exist now. They should have had some art classes. We're still around. Tech Town don't exist, but we're still here. So, we will always exist. Because art speaks to a person's humanity, to their spirit. And when you learn how to turn... Anybody ever heard of Bootsy Collins? Of course not. Because Bootsy is 1 year older than me, so I know you haven't heard of it. But anybody ever heard of James Brown? You mean you haven't heard of James Brown either? Wow. But you've heard of Mozart. You've heard of Beethoven. You've heard of the Europeans. Geniuses. There's geniuses who are not European. Do you guys know that? You should look them up. Look up your own culture, your own history. Who were the geniuses in your history? I know the geniuses of my time in my history. And Booker was one of them. But he's still alive. So he was one of the geniuses. James Brown was one of the geniuses. Anybody who knows anything about music know those names, right? Because all the people that you listen to were influenced by him. All the music that you listen to now, that's popular music, pop music, had some James Brown in it, had some Bootsy in it. They were that deep. All of American music was influenced by Negro spiritualism. Matter of fact, the only art form that was born in America was created by black people. The Negro spiritual, the blues, jazz. That music influenced the music around the world. Street dance influenced the dance all around the world. Street dance made up by black folks. Look it up. They know it, everybody knows it. So, learn about your own culture, who you are as a teenager. You are influencing people all around the world. Your culture, your music, your dance. So the artist, what we want to do, basically, like I want to make, through my art, I want to make people happy. I want to bless people. I want to help people. So I work hard at doing that through art. And most genius artists, not all, some genius artists, all they're about is money. And for some reason, money hasn't interested me that much. I don't know why, because I never had any, I guess. But the art is always what interests me. So, these artists here, they are coming of age. These artists, they're all older than me, but they are world famous. They're artists all around the world, hundreds of, well, for millions of dollars. All the big artists here. And I guess I said all that to say this. I want you to be serious about your work. As a teenager, and I was a teenager once, believe it or not, you're always into yourself. But at some point, maybe you want to be necessary. When I was a teenager, there came a time when I looked at my hero, Dr. Martin Luther King, and I wanted to be like him. I wanted a Nobel Peace Prize, for my art. I never got it, But I'm still doing the work, though, that might get something like that. So back to minimalism. This is a perfect example using only one color. And if you look close, this is acrylic on canvas. So it's using color, one color, we call that local color. Let's write this down. And take a picture of this board when I finish, okay? Because because I'm just riffing. I'll go with knowledge right now. Okay, who can I spell minimalism?
MINIMalism.
Okay. So this artist, Sean Sang-Noir, you have, I want you guys to read the other words. But I think they're Korean. I think Korean. And this type of art was created, like I said, I think in the 70s. I'm not sure. Somebody online maybe can help me with my art history. I can't remember. Well, this was done in 1985, so. And when you look at it, so you see blue rectangle brush color. And some of the blues are a little lighter. So, minimalism, I mentioned local color. In all paintings, if you learn how to use local color, it's going to make your painting stronger, more beautiful, more unified. I mean, with landscape you were doing, black was your local color. Okay, so there's something about using local color and being aware of it that brings it all together. It makes it holds your painting together. In classical times, if you was doing like a realistic portrait or something, well, I say classical times, I mean back in the Renaissance time, hundreds of years ago, you heard of Leonardo da Vinci, you heard of Michelangelo, right? So whenever we want to do figures, we go back and look at them. So they were the best. All through time, they're the best in history so far. Nobody has reached that level. So when you want to learn something, you go and look at the best. Okay. So in classical painting, what they would do, and I think, and you've been around for a while, you know when it was kind of, I told you to do a detail painting, a drawing on the canvas first. I don't know if you remember that. But you would do a detail drawing, detail line. I don't think we've gone through the classical painting because we never painted in oil paint. Yeah. And it's hard to do this with acrylic. Most acrylic paintings fall, in my opinion, fall flat. Because you're painting with flat. It's polymer. I'm so old that I know when it first came out, acrylic, we used to mix the polymer with the paint to make acrylic. You ever do that? I was in high school, but we used to mix pigment and polymer, and we made our paint before we painted it. In acrylic, you can do a lot. Acrylics is very graphic, so it's really good for storytelling. It's very fast, so you can scatter. You don't need much patience with it. Acrylic is kind of like watercolor on steroids, or tempera paint on steroids. You can fit or thin. But what I find with acrylic, when you put a color down, it's hard to look through that color. Have you noticed that, Olga?
Yeah.
The color's very black, hard to look through it to the color underneath. But with oil paint and watercolors, you can layer. And so you get more, in my opinion, more atmosphere. in my opinion. Now I know what I'm saying is boring and all that, but if you ever go to art school, yeah, if you ever go to art school, you will say, oh, that's what he was talking about. And that's the cool thing to happen, for you to know something before you need to know it. So I'm planting things in your subconscious mind. And your left brain don't want to hear this stuff. But there's no creativity in your left brain. The creativity is over there on the right side. The right side of your brain soaks this stuff up. You know, because it's called knowledge. And the more you know, the better you get in all of life. So, we're talking about creativity here, right? So, what we call it is not just in abstract minimalism, but it is in all kinds. You might have to do a local color exercise one day. There's so much stuff that I don't, you know, you just do whatever you do. Wherever you guys are, that's what you try to do. Well, and then local color. And here's a word that I've used before in the past, maybe once a year. I'll use this word. Let me ask you, because you guys were here when we was in the other building. What is the canvas or paper, whatever thing you're painting on, you know what that is called? The first thing, paper or canvas or whatever. It's a type of system. You know what that's called? Do you remember? Isn't it? Well, a stretcher is the object, but it doesn't matter what the object is. It could be paper, wood, but the system that you're building when you're making art, the thing when it's visual art, it's called. Do you remember what called it? They may not have something. But anyway, it's called supports.
Okay.
You remember hearing that word before? And what I probably did, because in the studio, I had this skeleton in the studio. And I said, support your picture is like a skeleton to your body. Like our skeleton, that's probably why you thought about stretcher bars. Because the bones are like stretcher bars. The bones in our body are like a stretcher bar. And this is a stretcher bar. It's a skeleton. And so with my important work, I build all this. With just blocks of wood and rolls of canvas. And I see it in my mind, the size that it needs to be. And it was huge. I'll lay it on the floor, get on a ladder, and I'll go stretcher bars. Oh, yeah, you see it there? Yeah, you see that one there? That's a big piece there. Matter of fact, it'll just be here maybe one more week, and then it's going to its new home. But, and then in my mind, I'm in my studio, I'm trying to see the picture in my mind. So I have the bars down. I'm trying to see what size it is. And when it feels right, then I'll mark it off and go and cut the bars, put them together, and then stretch the canvas. That's how you make art. So when you're making art, the art is you. Whether you want it to be or not, it's you. The negative, the positive, whatever. If I'm lazy and my mind, you know, I'm doing stuff, that's the type of art you make. If I'm an alcoholic, you make alcoholic art. If I'm a drug addict, your art would be I'll tell you a story. Yeah, I'll tell you a story. There was a time I used to smoke a lot of marijuana when I was younger. And what y'all laughing at? Believe it. It's hard to believe, isn't it? So this is my confession for today. I'm doing it. Everybody gonna see my confession. Yes, I got high. I admit it. And some people are going to be shocked. Did that Reverend Bill know I said it? But I'm telling you what cured me. My art cured me from getting high. Because me and my friends, all my friends were artists. All of them. They would either play music, or they made paintings, and they come over my house every day. And I would work on art all day long. And my friends, who were mostly musicians, and they all got high. Everybody. And so one day, I was working in my studio by myself, but I was high. And I drew this thing called a roach clip. A roach clip is what we used to, when marijuana got real small, we had this thing. They used to sell them in stores, okay, during my time. So, and that would hold the little, what we call roach, this small. So I did this super realistic, perfect, I made this perfect drawing of this roach clip. I'm so proud of myself. I said, man, that's the best drawing I ever made. So I went to bed, got up that morning, before I went to work, I went to my studio. And the last thing I saw was a rope clip with a straight line. It was straight like this. But that morning, it was like this. I stopped getting high that day. See, I thought it was making me a better artist. And there's a lot of artists that they drink. Y'all in the real world, you know people that drink, you know people that get high. Come on. And they drink, they smoke marijuana or other types of hard drugs, and they actually think that makes them a better artist. And some of them are so gifted and talented, especially the musicians, you can't tell the difference. You don't know the difference because they're just so gifted. But then they end up like Prince, dying by himself in a nose. Or like Michael Jackson, dying by himself, because he can't sleep at night. So he needs drugs to sleep. They end up like that, And I can name a whole lot of musicians and artists that died because they couldn't deal with real life, So, where did I go? Why did I go there? Because you guys don't deal with that because you have brains and you're human beings and you're creative. So you're going to be tempted and tempted. The older you get, especially as teenagers, you're going to be tempted and tempted. Some of you may already smoke marijuana. Because I was 8-year-old. And what do you know? Some of you already, and it's legal now. So some of you already get high. But I promise you, it doesn't help me become more creative. I promise you that. So, anyway, support system is the thing that you're going to use for your painting. I was taught how to stretch. Did they teach you guys how to stretch canvas over there?
Mm-hmm. No, I learned it in the school in San Diego.
Yeah. So,
they didn't really teach
they
us.
didn't really teach you at UTC about.
Yes,
You know how
I
to
do.
stretch canvas.
Yes.
Did you hear about the drum effect with the canvas?
Like when you tap it? No?
And it makes it sound like a drum,
Yeah.
then you know that you stretched it
Right.
really tight.
Right. You kind of stomp it or whatever.
Yep.
And go, that's what you want, right? It has a certain kind of sound. So all of a sudden now we have music and give them this support system. It's the same thing when I have Kuma drums. The same thing when you type in Kuma drums. You catch in the drums to see how it sounds, and the sound tells you, it's tuned correctly, right? So this support system is where your art's going to go. Remember, the art is invisible. It comes from inside of you. It's your spirit, your brain, your mind, right? And whatever you put on the paper or canvas or stone or wood is an expression of who you are. That's why I give 110% because I really love me. So I give 100% of what I do. Not only do I love me, I want to do something that can bless somebody else, help the world. So if I don't give 100%, then it's just all about me. And if your life is just all about you, you're living 50% of your life, 100% living. And that's like a sad thing when you only care about yourself and nobody else. That means you don't need you in the world, you're hurting people. You know. So the beautiful thing about art is you can express yourself and make your statement to the world. It can be negative or positive or whatever you want to do. And I shy away from the negative stuff. So in minimal art, this is what you're going to gather on to do. You're thinking about this, local colors. I probably have you just start off with one color for the first one. You're going to start with a 9x12 piece of paper. And you choose a certain color of then you're going to glue. Well, you're going to cut. You need. Why got to cut this cake? Wow.
That's Dutch.
You got where those scissors are in that round thing? Oh, you got that. Okay. So we have some fancy scissors. You can choose your cut. It's used for making clothes and things, but you're going to use those scissors. Cut the cake. You're going to glue the paper down. Then choose the color. No. We'll start there. We're going to build this thing up slowly. So it'll come out looking similar to this, maybe. But you decide the shape that you cut out. What's your decision? You see. And then this is one by Stanley or Whitley. Again, it's on your phone. And this is by Noon Warm Wind or something like that. And the reason why I'm showing you these is because and then that was this, which is a little bit more complex. They're using blocks and squares. So so there's power in color and shape. If you can use shape, and if you can control or use color to your advantage, then people, your audience, the people who look at your artwork, they may just look into your work and then turn back into themselves. So a person can look at your work and meditate, go into some type of meditation because of the color you chose, the shape that you chose. It's very cerebral. This is work, this is mind, this is like math. This is like advanced math. This is like decoding. And what I figured out yesterday, now, outside of the art field. You know, they listen to me in ministry usually, but when they don't, if I say no, you keep doing this, this is going to happen. They don't listen. Then it happens. Now I got to visit them and deal. Or they're dead. Or really, it's been that deep. So when I'm trying to convince Tech Town to have regular art classes to make art a part of what they're doing, they didn't listen. Now they don't exist. And it came to me a couple of days ago with where AI is going. Everybody's afraid of AI. They want to stop it or slow it down. And I was listening to something this morning, the person who actually started this thing with AI back in the 70s or whatever. He's called the Nobel Prize winner of AI or something like that. The brain that created it. He says that it could end the world one day. Because the computers are going to be smarter, they're going to be able to do everything that humans can do, and they're going to want to survive. So, I won't go that far. I hope that not. I don't want to go that far, but I do believe that the world is going to need some artists. Some people who can see things that's not there. People who can think in different ways than this straight line thinking that your right brain does. Like, go to college, get a job, make a whole lot of money. What about can I have some fun? Oh, can I have some fun on the way to doing it? This is telling you what to do. You be this. If I could, I'd tell you, you be an artist. I don't care what you become. But I know that waking your right brain up is going to help you figure stuff out no matter what you become. Because you're using more brain power. Be whatever you want to be. But be creative. Be creative. And I believe what I came up with, the only thing that can control AI is going to be the human brain. The right side. Because besides that, the only crunching numbers. I was an advanced math student, believe it or not, when I went to school. In Chattanooga, I was one of three high school students whose math was good enough to get hired by South Central Bell. It used to be the telephone company, but now I know we're doing something totally different. But we had to do formulas to hook up telephone numbers. So I used to be really great at math. But yeah, I had a great math teacher who was creative, that used my creativity to teach me math and algebra and calculus and all that kind of stuff. I got into trouble in college because I could solve some problems, but they would give me a problem. There would be 5 steps in between. I would go to the 6th step. And she would say, well, how did you get here, Charlie? I don't know, I was just taught to do it that way. See, I had a math teacher that was a genius. I don't know how I got there. And they almost kicked me out of school because they thought I was cheating. But then they found out, hey, he's not cheating. Because I'm watching him do this. You don't know how he got there, but he gets to the right answer. So everything can't be explained that straight line thinking. Use your right brain. The world is going to need artists. They don't know that yet. They're going to need you. You're going to have to remain creative no matter what field you're working in. Remain creative. You'll figure out how to give yourself promotions. Even when they don't want to promote you, you will promote yourself. You'll control your own destiny. You heal yourself. Art can heal. You can turn inward and love yourself because you can do things that most people can't do. All of that can be put, what I just talked about, here. This is very meditative, psychological, shapes, colors, foundation of your art. The foundation. I had a painting, and you saw the painting of Ed Johnson. Which I still don't have a home for that painting yet, but one day maybe I'll get the right home. But people, grown people, men and women, when I showed them that painting, they would start weeping. I had that happen to about 5 or 6 different occasions because they saw something in that painting. But what I'm doing is using the stuff I'm trying to teach you guys. You know, you can share who you are with the world and make the world a better place. So that's why you have to give 110%. And of course, if I think you're not doing that, I keep pushing. I won't stop pushing. Because you do need, once you really love yourself, man, it's on then. Then you can say, well, I'm going to Europe, and you'll go there, you know, on your own. You know, it won't matter how much money's in the bank. You say, I'm going to do this, and you'll do it. Because you believe in yourself just that much. And you deserve it. Right? So what you're going to do, you're going to start small. And hopefully we'll end very large. So we'll do 9 by 12, you choose the color. And then you go over that color. You're going to use a spray pan. Which is like oil pastel. Oil pastel. Spray pan. And temper, right? You do some temper paint?
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, paint. Temper. A lot of times, if you do something like good, I have you do it over and over again for me. So you can get locked into that, right? Once you get locked, understand what you're doing, because that's your style right now. I want you to get locked in. And once you get locked into that style, you know how to do it, you know, then you move on to something different. So we will teach you every style that's ever been created in history. Okay? So I know all the styles, and right now we're going to deal with them. So a good way to approach it, your mind has to be free, empty your mind. So you have to block out all the noise. I think you guys are good at doing that because we use a lot of noise. But I'm not. Well, when I was doing it, I could block out the noise. But you have to block out the noise of what happened this morning at home or yesterday with the argument you got in 2 or 3 minutes or whatever. Block all that stuff out. Unless you want to put that on your paper. If you can put that energy on your paper too, that's cool. I like that too. Right? If you're sick, you can put that energy on the paper. But first though, empty your mind. Sometimes you're working and you're not thinking about anything except color and shape. That's a good way to work too. And let that draw you in. Okay? And like I always say, the picture will tell you what to do. And we may do more than one. But if you have an emotion or a feeling, by all means put that into it if you want to. Also, art can take you away from feelings that you don't want to think about. You know, memories that you want to forget and not think about. Creating can get that stuff out of your head too, because a lot of times you can focus on negative stuff and negative things in your mind, your world will turn negative. Because you have power over your environment. Every Tuesday, we go talk to people to control their environment and their thinking. Right, Olga?
Yeah.
They're kids, but they're locked up. You know, they're criminals. So what's in here? Yeah. Don't let everything in there. Okay. And get stuff out that's negative. You know, just get it out of your mind. Find ways to get it out. And making art is one way to do that. It gives you alternative ways of thinking about life and dealing with life. It's a good practice for your brain. But do we have any questions? I want you to read these short little, I don't know what you would call it.
Write-up. Write-up?
Little bios.
Or the write-up?
Yeah, little write-ups or bios about these artists before you start. Read that, okay? All right, any questions? All right, thank you.